Hey guys, it's Maggie and I am back today with a topic that I wish I had seen when I was 21. And to be honest with you, I actually filmed this once already, but I felt like I was missing out on half of the story. So I am refilming it today because I want to tell you not just the upside of drinking with an ostomy, but I need to tell you about the negatives of drinking with Crohn's disease. If you hear beeping in the background of this video, there's some work going on our road, and there's literally workers laying down in my front yard right now. I don't know what's going on, but I'm letting them do their thing, but I'm really getting annoyed at the constant beeping. They are backing trucks up the road. Every couple minutes they drive forward and then they drive backwards and beep, beep, beep. I'm gonna lose it. They started at 6:50 a.m. today, so yeah. Anywho, we're gonna get into the topic of not only drinking with an ostomy, but drinking with Crohn's disease. Like I said, I filmed this already and I talked only about drinking with an ostomy, but I realized that my Crohn's disease affects drinking more than my ostomy does. And I know that's not the case for everybody. Some people have a lot of effects from having an ostomy and drinking. But for me, Crohn's disease really plays a huge part in my ability to drink alcohol. And I'm bringing it up because there may have been a very, very, very recent moment where my Crohn's disease had a negative impact after drinking. And I was not too thrilled. And that was actually the beginning of this week. So I had one of my favorite beers. It's called Fool's Gold. It's a peanut butter beer. I love it. I've never had trouble with it in the past, but I have had trouble with certain alcohols and my Crohn's disease, even when I'm not flaring or anything. And I had that beer the other night and I started to notice when I was drinking it that I was feeling burning like in my stomach, but also up my esophagus. And I was like, it's probably fine. I'll probably be okay. And it kind of destroyed my stomach for the next couple of days. There are a number of things that could have played a part in how I was feeling, like medicines I was taking, foods I was eating, but nothing is like really sticking out to me too much. And the symptoms started when I was drinking the beer. And I ignored it because I was having a good time. We had our friend over and we were playing board games because you know us, wild weekends. We were just having a good time and I didn't want to not have my beer, and so I paid for it the next couple of days. And that is definitely something I've noticed with having Crohn's disease. Certain alcohols will affect me, and sometimes they'll affect me one time and they won't affect me another. There was one evening when we went to Olive Garden and I got a blended wine and it killed me. I felt so sick afterwards. It just totally tore up my stomach, and I usually just get burning in my stomach, burning up my esophagus, and it lasts for a decent amount of time. I can actually feel the damage being done, and then it takes a few days for that to heal. So that means everything that I'm eating and drinking for the next few days is not feeling too great. That's exactly what happened this week. Monday I woke up, made myself my usual cup of coffee, and the first sip I took, it was like razor blades. And so I was sitting there like, dang it. And thankfully I had some Carafate, which is a medication that can help coat any ulcerations in your stomach and your esophagus. So I took a little bit of that, but that has consequences in itself. I get very loose ostomy output from that. So it was just not a fun time, and it made me realize that I need to listen to myself. If you're feeling pain, don't continue to drink the same dang thing. So yeah, it's kind of interesting though, because a lot of people have concerns about having an ostomy and drinking. And I'll say personally, I decided not to have any alcohol to drink until I was 21. And that plays a lot on my family history. my mom was an alcoholic and we lost her to it. So I had a fear of alcohol until I realized at the age of 21, I didn't know what I was afraid of. So, I didn't think that I had a very addictive personality. There's a lot of ways that I am like my mom, and there are a lot of ways that I differ, and I have not personally found that I have an issue with substances. I've been very fortunate over the years because I know, especially with all the surgeries I've had, a lot of people have issues with pain medications, and that just never seemed, I never seemed to be impacted by that. Thank goodness. I've never seemed to have any issues with weaning myself off of pain medications. I don't know. I don't know why, but I don't seem to have an issue with it. Knock on some wood for me. So I made that decision when I was 21. Let me see what I'm afraid of, and I haven't had any issues, thank goodness. That being said, though, I received my ostomy when I was 16. So because I hadn't had any prior experience without an ostomy and drinking, I don't know what it was like beforehand, but I can only imagine with how active my Crohn's was when I was 16, if I was, doing illegal things, drinking under 21, don't do it. If I had been doing that, I'm sure that I would have not felt great because pretty much all food did not feel great. So once I got my ostomy surgery, obviously food improved. I can only imagine that the ability to drink alcohol improved. That is not to say that having an ostomy does not impact my ability to drink alcohol. I think one of the most important things for me that I do is if I know that I'm going to be drinking, if there's some, party, event, we're going out to dinner, I have no idea. If something's going on, I know I'm going to drink. I know that I need to eat, and I need to eat foods that are safe foods. And I hate using that term because it's not like, I don't want to say exotic, but like a meal that I'm not used to. It's not like that is going to cause me any trouble, but I want to eat foods that I know are going to keep my output in check, thicker. So things like pastas and breads, things of that nature, I will definitely eat a bit more of during the day leading up to the drinking event, just to make sure that when I'm drinking, I have something in my stomach to help take the edge of the alcohol off a little bit, but also so my output does not get too watery, because when I drink, my output tends to increase a little bit. And I think a lot of people with ostomies do notice that, but I notice it with like liquor, mixed drinks and stuff like that, as well as wines. Wines can go either way, but with beer, I'm usually fine. Something I do too is I hydrate. I mean, I do that anyway. I've talked about it before. I love my electrolyte mixes because I just need it. I know that my ostomy output tends to go back and forth of, the consistency of it. So if I just make sure that I'm hydrated anyway, I'm usually fine. It's part of my routine. But I definitely do make sure, I gotta stay hydrated. And that usually, the only extra step that I do if I know I'm gonna be drinking is, even if it's just going out to dinner and it's not too far away, I will bring whatever I'm drinking with me. I mean, I bring my hydration solution with me, not the alcohol. I will bring that in the car so that way to wherever we're going, and on the way back, I can just continue my hydration. It just helps with an ostomy so you don't get dehydrated. B, anybody who drinks should be hydrated when they drink, depending on the event that we're going to. If it's just out to dinner, not a big deal. But if there's some party or something and, maybe it's more than one drink that we're having this evening, I will also prepare in what I wear. So I know personally, not that I would ever put myself in a position where I was drunk, but I know personally when I've had a few drinks, I don't really notice my appearance as much. I think that's pretty standard, we get a little frazzled. So I tend to wear something like a looser fitting dress with a pattern just because I know that my ostomy is probably going to get bigger than I normally would allow it to. I like to empty when there's not a whole lot in there, but I know what I'm drinking. Yeah, it's probably going to get a little bit bigger. I don't like people looking at my full ostomy bag through my clothing, so that's why I make sure I wear something where you can't really see it anyway. So those are a couple of the ways that I will kind of prep when I'm planning on drinking. When you go online though, there's not a lot of information about drinking with an ostomy. It's very limited, and from what I saw, it's mainly personal accounts, and a lot of the people say that they are lightweights. I don't know. I don't know if that's true or not. In my mind, and maybe I'm completely wrong about this, when I drink, my ostomy output tends to go a bit faster and is a bit more watery, meaning I'm probably not absorbing quite as much of whatever's in there as I normally would, which would make me think that maybe it would be the opposite of being a lightweight. At the same time, though, I am 90 pounds and 5 foot tall. Yeah, I think I'm probably considered a lightweight as it is. So I can't speak to that. I think it's definitely based on, everybody's different. You're going to have different experiences. So it's something that you will have to kind of figure out on your own. A lot of this is trial and error. But I have had a number of people ask if it's safe for you to drink with an ostomy. And obviously when you go to the doctor, they're going to give their excessively safe answer as they would for anything. But then there's the real world answer. And, people are going to drink with an ostomy. People are going to get drunk with an ostomy, and people are going to have hangovers with an ostomy. It's going to happen. What I would say is moderation, be safe, hydrate, eat, and just be extremely careful with your ostomy until you know how it's going to act with alcohol. I think that that is the best thing that we can do. But I also realize that people want to have fun, and sometimes having fun is being a little bit stupid. Someone should put that on a t-shirt. But yeah, I think the only other thing that I wanted to note is that especially if you've just recently had surgery, you might be on medications that are not safe with alcohol, especially pain medications. They can kind of exacerbate the effects of alcohol and the pain medication, and then antibiotics. Definitely, that is something to check with your doctor. In fact, on a lot of the medications that you'll receive, if you're, taking oral antibiotics or pain medication, it'll say it on the bottle whether or not you can have it with alcohol. But you can also ask the pharmacist when you're picking up the meds, make sure to check that, because that is a safety concern. Make sure that you are safe to drink with whatever medicines you're on. There are some antibiotics that if you drink alcohol when you're taking them, you will projectile vomit. So Flagyl is one of them. Just, keep that in mind. That was from nursing school. I won't, that's something I won't forget. It will not be a fun time if you drink with that medication. So yeah, I think that's really important to note though. But that's kind of my experience. Like I said, a lot of the stuff that I do to prepare for drinking with an ostomy are things that are already part of my daily routine. Eating foods that are safe for me, especially if I'm leaving the house. I don't want to deal with an active stoma. And I always make sure that I'm hydrated. It's really the Crohn's that affects the drinking. I have to make sure that it's alcohol that I don't have issues with. And if I wind up drinking it anyway and I do have issues, I kind of have to have a game plan in mind for how I'm going to make it through the next few days, because it does last. Like today is Wednesday, and I had that beer on Sunday night. Yeah, it's just now like getting to the end where I almost feel 100% normal, but like we're like at 95%. But Monday morning, actually Monday all day was pretty rough because I was eating dinner and I was like, oh, this burns. It's having a game plan, and honestly, it's one of those things where if I know that the alcohol is going to affect me, I won't order it. Like, I won't get it. I will never order a red blend wine again because I'm scared it's gonna do that to me. So hopefully this video was helpful. It's more of a personal experience. This isn't, you know, a science-based video, but I would really love to hear your experiences either with, you know, having a stoma and drinking, or having inflammatory bowel disease and drinking, or if you've got another GI illness, how does that impact your ability to drink alcohol? Or do some of you just completely avoid it altogether? I thought that was cool. I'm gonna have to find the brand of it. There was an IBD patient, I believe it was an IBD patient, who made an alcoholless beer. So that way, if you have trouble with Crohn's disease and drinking, you know, you could still have a beer with your friends and it not have any alcohol in it for you to not feel too great. I feel like it's called Partake. Hold on, I got my phone here. We're gonna Google it because it's gonna bug me. Partake beer? Now my stomach is grumbling. Yeah, Partake. It's non-alcoholic beer. I think it was an IBD. Yeah, here we go. When Partake founder Ted Fleming was diagnosed with Crohn's disease, he made a decision to give up alcohol. So there you go. It's called Partake if you're interested in looking it up. Non-alcoholic beer, so that way you can partake in the festivities. My stomach is getting so loud, so I'm going to end this video, but let me know your experience with drinking below, or if you decided to not partake in drinking altogether. And yeah, thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next. Bye guys!